Hello and welcome to week 1 of AC1320 Accounting Software Systems and Principles, a QuickBooks class. My name is Bob Steele. I'll be your instructor for this mod. My contact information is down here with the email address, the phone number. Office hours will generally be on request, so best way to contact me is really usually the email address, and then we can set up some time to talk by phone and or by screen share software as needed. So first contact through the email usually or the phone, but then we can set up some time to work through some problems using the screen share software. I highly recommend using screen share software for working some problems. It's helpful for group works as well if you want to work with other students to find some screen share software such as Skype or joinme.com. Here's an example of joinme.com, and one of the best features of those is basically to have groups on it and to be able to share each other's screens so you can work through the QuickBooks problem and have other people actually see what you're doing rather than trying to talk through it. The most important thing we need to do first off in this class is to get the textbook and to install the software. So remember that the textbook is going to be a hard copy book. It's going to be a soft cover book. It's going to look like this. You really want the 2014 version. All the data files that we're going to have are going to be the 2014 version. So this should have been mailed to you, or you should have it at your local campus. If you don't have it, then contact your local campus as soon as possible. We do need this because at the back of the book we will have the software that we will want to input. Now, if you already have QuickBooks or something like that, and it's 2014 or later, it is possible to use that software, but I still highly recommend using this software because it'll be formatted. The format will be slightly different just in the appearance, and therefore, in order for it to look just like the book, it's really helpful to have this software which will look just like the book. So make sure you get the book. If you don't have the book, let me know. When you do get the book, then what you're going to want to do is go down to this video for installing the QuickBooks and go through that process. Install the QuickBooks, make sure that it gets installed. It's going to be this item at the end of the book. A couple problems which this video does address will be, what if the computer does not have a DVD drive? Then we're going to have to deal with that in a couple different ways. We can deal with that, and that'll be addressed at the end of this, as well as if we do have a Mac computer, and that's the biggest problem. If we have a Mac rather than a Windows-based computer, this software won't be compatible with that. So we might be able to work around with some other type of Macintosh software, but I would highly recommend trying to find a PC rather than do that, because even if we get software up and running, it will not look exactly like the PC version. So really the best solution is to find that PC and try to work these problems on the PC if at all possible. But any problems with that, give me a call as soon as possible. We also have some other links up here. The most relevant to this class would be the YouTube link. So we're going to have some links within the class to videos such as these. If you wanted to find those directly on the YouTube channel, you could go here and you could find them directly. You would scroll down to the Charter area. It's under Charter here, and we're in AC1320. And so if you click on this, we'll have a playlist here. So instead of finding them within the Moodle shell, which they should be there as well, you could go here directly and just find what you're looking for in that format. Going to go back to Moodle Rooms up top. There's going to be some other links here that have accounting lectures. So it's not going to be QuickBooks stuff in there, but if you wanted just to review some accounting lectures, you can go to the YouTube channel and find some accounting lectures as well. You can also go to, if you have an iPhone, you could find a podcast. If you look under accounting instruction, help and how to, and if you wanted to review those are audio only. They're designed not to need the visual, so you can do other things like do the dishes or something and listen to the audio. And if you have an Android or some other phone, it's Stitcher. It's a podcast, so you could look up those and use those in a similar fashion. And you can also look them up here on SoundCloud. So those are the same types of things. So those are going to be the audio type of lectures that you could look into. Again, other accounting, not going to be QuickBooks. That would be to review the accounting in general. So if we go down to our resources here, we have the syllabus. So go and check that out real quick. We're going to be doing an introduction to QuickBooks here. It's basically going to be a QuickBooks class. You're going to need to have passed AC1110 to get in it. If you had taken AC1110 last mod and there's a question as to whether you passed it or not, then you really want to clear that up, and because what will happen is you'll get pulled back into that class once the grade is processed if you have not passed. So you want to determine that as soon as possible and then start preparing for whatever class you're in rather than losing a week on it. So if you don't think you passed AC1110, it's probably the fact that you're going to be pulled back into AC1110, so you might want to be proactive on that and look into that and then start reviewing AC1110 and pick that up because you're going to need to do that before you go on to this class. I'll let you look over the learning objectives, the instructional materials. We will be using this 2014 QuickBooks book. It is a hard copy book. You have to have the book because it has the software included with it. I'll let you go over the topics. It's going to be an introduction to QuickBooks. And the categories for percentages. I always want to point out that 21% of the grade is for discussion forums. You want to pick up 100% of that 21%. You have the most control over those. Make sure to participate in the discussion forums. And then we have the other most control over the assignments and the homework. Some of them can be a little bit longer. It's going to be a bit harder to get used to QuickBooks when we first start. But once we do them, they should be okay, and you can pick up a lot of points on those. If you pick up 100% of the discussion and 33 and 13 on the homework, then you're going into the quizzes, which is as big a point total cushion as possible. That's how I would approach this class. That's how I would approach all the classes. All right, going back to Moodle Rooms, I'm going to scroll down. You may want to watch this as well, the course overview. That's good to just go over the Moodle Rooms itself. It's going to be similar to prior classes such as AC1320. Remember that once you have the book, the first thing you want to do is watch this step 1 video, which is going to be to install it. So you can watch it here. If you click on here, you'll go through it within the Moodle Room shell. Notice that if you clicked up here, it's going to have the drop down for the entire playlist. And you could click on one of these and then close it and watch the entire playlist in this format. Or if you wanted to see it in a different format that might be more flexible, you can click on here again, and that'll take you to the YouTube page where these same videos are at. So just be aware that you can watch it as it's embedded here in Moodle Rooms, or you can go to YouTube by clicking on this twice, basically, or you can skip through these in this format and watch them all in that way as well. All right, and then we have the second step, which is going to be to restore the file. So once we get the file QuickBooks up and running, then we got to restore Larry Landscaping, and we're going to use that all the way through Chapter 5. So click on this one, Restore Larry Landscaping, and then we're good all the way through Chapter 5. The Larry Landscaping backup file is here, so you're going to need to download this in some format. This video will show you how to do that. So you want to click on here and download this file, and then restore that. That's the first thing we got to do. All right, once that's all up and running, we're set for the entire course in terms of installing the software, and then we can go into week 1 and work through this. We got the familiar objectives, we got the topics, we got the lessons. We're going to be covering chapters 1 through 3, and they're going to be much the same. They're going to introduce the topic of QuickBooks. We're not going to get into actually recording transactions in chapters 1 through 3. What we're going to get used to is just having the transactions that are already in there in a company that's already created, and just go through and print out forms. And this is something that's important in any type of database program. We just got to go in there and figure out how to print forms, how to save forms, how to upload forms. That's what we're going to work on in chapters 1 all the way basically through chapter 5. We're going to be using the same data file, so once you get Larry Landscaping working, then you can just fly through all the assignments. In terms of assignments, make sure to do the discussion forums. Remember, those are worth 21% of the grade. In order to get 21% of the grade, you need at least 4 posts by the end of the week. I would post more like 7 to 8 times just to make sure to pick that up. Remember that the grades here accumulate upwards, so any post can't reduce the grade, it can only increase the grade. However, if a post is not contributing to the conversation, then it's not going to increase the grade much. So remember, it's got to have content that is relevant to QuickBooks, that is new, in order to increase the grade. Also, be careful of plagiarism. If you copy and paste anything from Google or something like that, just make sure to reference it. Say, here's the URL, and if you want to pick up full points on that, then rephrase it in your own words, or even critique it in your own words. Say if you agree or not with the post. Remember, everything that we find on Google is not going to be completely accurate. And then the assignments and the homework is going to go through the chapters 1 through 3, and they're going to be looking very similar once we get going. So we're going to go into here, and we'll have this will be the playlist again that we're going to watch, and then work through the problem with it. So if you click on this icon, again, you can watch it within this window, or you may want to click up here twice, here, and then click here again, and watch it within YouTube. Whichever works better for you. You can jump to YouTube or watch it within that window. But this will work through that first problem. And it'll walk through the problem, and then you just got to do the same thing we're gonna print these reports. We're gonna print them as a PDF file and then upload those down here to Moodle Rooms. So we'll do that for week 1. I'm gonna go back up to the cookie trail. And then we're going to do that for chapter 1, I should say. Chapter 2 will be here, and then the homework will be chapter 3. Same type of format that we'll have here, and we're going to download these and then upload them back up to Moodle Rooms. And then we have the quiz, so I'm going to click back up here. And remember that the quizzes are going to be due by Sunday, so we cannot generally make up the quiz. So if you run into a time constraint, take the quiz. It's not going to be totally dependent on the software. You can take the quiz without the software even, because it's going to be a question and answer multiple choice type of quiz. So just make sure to pick those up. Do not get zeros on the quiz. And if you run into a time constraint, then take the quiz. And then we do have more leeway on the homeworks to pull those in for late work. Remember, everything's going to be due on Sunday. I'm going to get everything graded hopefully by the following Tuesday. I have until the following Tuesday to basically get everything updated. So therefore, you're going to want to check the grade book by Tuesday, hopefully afternoon, by after the following of the week, and everything in the grade book should then be adjusted for the work that has been done. If there's anything that goes to a 0, then you want to go in there and pick that up for the late work. If you got any questions, let me know. And that's going to be it for week 1, so have a great week 1.